Alright, we're going to be doing a video on gears, the whole ensemble, and I will have timestamps for you to check every single type of topic that you want. I think this is covering the most part except for really grinding gear and specifically the gear dungeon, because of the fact that they said they were going to be changing it up on global launch. But I could talk about everything else and make a specific video for that. Should not be that bad. I will also be making videos on the best free-to-play teams, basically like just being able to complete it with SRs and like the best teams in general to clear it as quickly as you can when global does launch, when we get more information on that. But for now, we're going to be talking about main stats, substats, accessories, all of the good stuff. So that's going to be this video. If you have any questions that aren't answered, I'm sorry about that, by the way. If that does happen, leave them down below and I will answer them. I'm going to do my best to get through pretty much everything, but it will happen that some things just get through the cracks, they slip through, and it's just gonna be like that. So we're gonna have to go in like this. Now then, I think I have a pretty good grasp on how gear works. I have played JP and Canada. I've tested a lot of stuff out. I've played around with substats. I've seen what gives more CC, what helps out a lot more, and I think I could give a pretty educated telling of how gear should be. Hopefully we don't see that Asta again. Now, to start off, there are 4 types of equipments. They are the types here. So we've got this 4 but 3 different ways that they're shaped. So you're going to be fitting all of your gear into this square, and you want to fit it the best you can to get the most stats, CC, or set bonuses. You have the square, which is going to consist of one piece that you could put on. That could either be main stat of attack or magic attack. There are 2 attack main stats. Some attackers build more off of attack, some build more off of magic attack, okay? Now, this rectangle is either going to be, there's 2. So there's going to be the defense one, where it's always defense, or one where it's always attack, but it could either be the normal attack or magic attack. I like to refer to it as physical and magic because that's essentially what it is. So you have 2 rectangles, 1 square, and then 1 sideways piece that is always HP in a full set. That is going to be the 4 pieces that will make the full set. And then there are, of course, rarities. Each rarity will be able to increase in levels, where SSR could go to 8, UR to 8, and then LR to 12. LR is the only one that could go to 12. And each 4 levels gives you an extra substat. As you can see here, there's only 3 on a UR, but there's 4 on an LR. So that is the basics. Now, of course, I mentioned the sets. These are all the sets in the game. We have access to all of these at the moment on JP, but the stun set on the bottom, all the rest have come out. And the only 2 that aren't on Canada yet, I'm pretty sure, are actually 3, would be the damage reduction one, the stamina lowering one, or just a debuffer set, and the healing set. The rest we have gotten. So if you would like to check out detailed information on all of the sets, I would recommend going to Pridewind. On Pridewind, they have all of the sets, mainly for the JP folks, because on global, you will have access to all of them. But these are the main sets that you could see here. And yeah, it also shows which dungeon it drops from, so that's cool. Now you've got a 2 set and a 4 set, which we're going to dive into a bit later, but I got to explain a couple things first. But 2 sets means obviously you only need 2 of the 4 pieces, and then 4 set means you need all 4 to get these buffs. The 4 sets are usually better, but of course for someone like a DPS, it might come at the cost of some damage in other ways. Now, going on from that, I recommend, if you want to see all of them, I'm not going through them. If you want to see them, check it out. But if you want to see detailed information on certain people, who to run, then I have guides for that. Now, there is something in this game called basically advanced gear sets or upgraded gear sets, with the what shows a gold border, but now they've switched it in game to just be the star. So you're going to see a star, which means it is the upgraded version of another attack set, and it just means that it has a better set bonus. So this is the upgraded version of the attack. It gives 7% attack and magic attack for the 2 piece, and then 15% extra damage dealt. The normal one gives 220 attack and magic attack, and then 10% damage dealt on 4 set. As we know, in many games, percentages are usually better than just flat bonuses for stats. So just off the bat, you could tell that it's better. But if we go for another example, here it gives 30% defense, then 40% defense with 8% damage reduction, where the normal set gives 250 defense and then 20% defense. So it is a big increase to where the 2 piece for the upgraded is better than the 4 piece for the defense. So yeah, that is basically how it works. Now, The upgraded sets are always the ones you want to run usually, but some pieces, for example, lifesteal, and of course these 4 right here, and also accuracy, then crit defense, crit defense, pretty sure I'm not messing that up, crit resistance, sorry, are all not able to get upgraded substats because, or upgraded sets, because that's just how it is. Now, next part, I'm gonna have to answer a question: 2-set or 4-set? So as you see on screen, this is what you would call a 2-set piece. But if I go to one of my speed units, I guess the Sally have it. This is what you would call a 4-set piece, where you use a 4-set piece. But the thing is, with 4-set, you are not, it's kind of restrictive, because obviously you cannot make use of another piece, because right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. But if I go to like my Mars, obviously I have 7 pieces, so it's different, right? You might be asking, do I use a 4-set or do I use 3 2-sets? And to answer your question, I'm going to provide you some math, and I think this is going to answer your question quite well at the end of the day. So for 2 sets, this is my piece. This is how I run my piece. And if we calculate in just the gear set bonuses, sorry, no, this is Blaze J's. If we calculate in the gear set bonuses that Blaze J gets from this, right, including his accessories, of course, so there are some variables, but including his gear set bonuses, it's a total of 70% extra defense, counting the 2-piece and the 4-piece. So I times it by 1.7 because that's math, and he gets about 37,000 defense. Now, I have 28,000 defense with a full range. Now, he has 20, we'll say 21.7 with only 2 defense pieces here, because he can only run 2 defense pieces. Now, he gets 70% extra, but with me, I get 30% extra defense because I only have the 2-piece. He gets an extra 40% on the 4-piece. Now, I get an extra set bonus, where him, it's really only the extra defense. And I round out to 36.4k about. And it averages out because I have 1 LR piece, and he has 2 UR pieces, where mine is an SSR. So in general, it kind of averages out to the accessories, which are defense. Now, you could see it's basically almost no difference. The only thing is I have 3 sets, and he has slightly more defense in general. I get to have more variety because of the fact that I have 3 sets. You could build him in many different ways. You could build him with extra speed, especially because it's a Mars. You could give him more speed and then also have other sets, right? So I'd say, for me, if you are a stat reliant unit, it is always better to run on 2-set pieces and have 4 of the rectangles for defense or attack if you're an attacker. Especially for attackers, if we look at it, I would say that it is much better because of the fact that you can get very high attack. And in general, if you're not trying to get to the 4 sets for multiple reasons, because it's lowering your damage, you have to put an HP piece and you have to put a defense piece. And sure, the 15% extra damage is great, but you're losing out on much more than that if you have an HP piece and also a defense piece, and then considering you're losing out on a set bonus, which could be detrimental. The 4-piece is great, but the only people I would consider it for are speed units. So people who have high speed and want to attack first is the ones you're going to be using it for. And usually the only people that have 4 pieces are ones for speed. So the only time you're using it is if you're using a speed 4 set with either a defense or like a debuffing 2 set, right? So that's how you're going to be using 4 sets, and I hope that explanation is clear. In terms of stats, it doesn't change too much except getting the 4 sets. If 4 sets were a good amount better than they are, I could say sure. But as of right now, the only real bonus that Blaze J's pieces had over mine is that he got 8% extra damage reduction, but I was able to get extra speed. So it's up to you. What do you rather? Of course, there's also a damage reduction set, so you know you could go for that too. But yeah, that's basically the 2-set or 4-set discussion, kind of quenched in my eyes. I don't really have much more to say on that. Now, next up, upgrading material. There's 2 main ways that you're going to be getting it, but of course you could get some in a bit other ways. But one of the main ways is you're going to be not there. You're going to be going to Vanessa, and you're going to disassemble, and when you disassemble gear, you're going to be getting these materials, the blue and red ones. And when you get the blue and red ones, you're going to be able to go to the bottom tab and then craft accessory or gear stones and upgrade them. And then you can see I could drag it. Oh wow, that's quite a lot. I didn't know I had that much, but hey, look, this is how much I have. And then yeah, you could craft it, and it takes 2 different resources for the accessories. Obviously you could see red and blue. So that's the one of the ways. And then the other way is obviously just going to the city district, and then here you will see at the end you are able to get LR, well, the LR, UR, and then SSR, upgrade stones, but not really rarities. It's just the green, yellow, and purple ones, but that's just how I refer to them. But yeah, you're gonna get substats and then also that. Now, talking about substats, how do substats work? This part is gonna be also mathematical that I need to talk about a bit, but let's talk about it. So I want to go to a DPS for this mainly because I think it's quite important, but you're able to get a lot of substats. You are not able to get speed substats, so that is a thing. You're able to get 4 substats per LR piece, and they could be a variety. There is flat and then also percentages for pretty much everything. If I go over it, let me go to KR because it's going to be much easier like this. These are all these substat options. We got flat attack, flat magic attack, flat defense, flat HP, flat accuracy, flat damage resistance, and then we got crit percent, crit damage, crit rate percent. Oh, let me go back. Sorry. You got crit rate percent, you got crit damage percent, you got crit resistance percent, attack percent, magic attack percent, defense percent, and HP percent. These are all the options that you could get on substats. Now, what would you want to go for the most part? Now, if we're really looking at it, if I'm going to my best DPSs, it's usually, this is my best set. So I have magic attack set 1. This is the one that's on Fauna. And the main things you're going to see is the main stat for the attacker. So for Fauna, it's magic attack because she has higher attack, is going to be on it as a percentage. Percentages give way more. If we just look at it, right, let's pull up our trusty Google and let's go on a calculator. If you have 30,000 magic attack and okay, your flat attack gives you 200. Great. Now you're at 30,200. That's just a flat magic attack bonus. But if you have, let's say if you got 5%, sorry, I have to do 1.05. If you got 5% magic attack substat, that's an extra 1,500 instead of 200. So in general, you're going to be wanting to put percentages. You're not, oh, wrong. Yeah, so you're going to want to be putting percentages and not the flat stats. Now, if you get both, that's even better. But 100 is much less than getting an extra 1,500, especially in my case. Substats give much more just in CC and everything. So you're going to be going for usually percentages on substats. That is the main way you're going to want to go, and it's usually going to be on the stat that's the highest. If you're building someone magic attack, you go for magic attack. Per se, every DPS that builds off magic attack that has higher magic attack, Rades for his barrier, Mimosa for her heals, and then if you want to build someone HP, per se, Charlotte for her barriers, and then also we could go, let's say, where is she? Charmy, where's Charmy? Charmy for her heals, right? Someone like that, or hell, even Kohono for her heals, right? All these people build with HP, so you're going to be going for full HP. That's how it's going to be going even on the substats. So yeah, especially when you start to build only one stat higher and higher, the percentages will start multiplicatively buffing in a sense. So it will be very good and it will be nice. Now, I recommend for DPSs going for the attack stat and hopefully the crit stats on the side. If you need a bit extra defense, that's fine. Then for defenders, defense and HP are always the way to go. Now, there is another part to substats that I do want to talk about, is that on KR, well, of course, anywhere really at the moment, you could upgrade substats. And there are 3 substat upgraders. There's the green ones, the gold ones, and then the purple ones. Now, they're not that easy to get. They're usually gotten through events. You could buy some in the shop on KR, but not really anywhere else. You could get some through Guild Wars, the guild versus guild, just point collection. You could get some through some limited time events that happen once in a while. And of course, you could get the green ones, right? The green ones in this one, right? So you can't get anything higher than green, but of course you can get some in different ways, and there will be some packs if you really feel like it, but they will give some decent ways to actually get it, so it's pretty nice. Now, the main thing also is going to be substat rerolls that you do not see. Actually, let me not do it on that piece. Let's just take this. Hell, that's really good. Damn, let me find something else. So yeah, okay, well, I mean, let me go to the bottom and just, okay, this. So you could reroll for substats, and this thing you are able to choose. Now, at the moment, there's 0 ways to getting the gold or purple one, and this is exclusively on JP. Maybe it's going to be on global launch, and maybe this part is going to be something you'll need to know. But anyway, you are able to choose which substats you want to stop at, and you are able to choose if you want to pick multiple. And if you pick multiple, you could turn this on, and it's going to only stop when you get all the ones you want. So let's say attack and then defense. Okay, well, let's just go, let's say we want attack and then not the flat. Let's go attack and then defense. So If I don't turn this on, it means it will only stop when I get one of those two. So we're gonna go through it and see. Oh, well, I guess we got defense percent, so that's great. Now then, yeah, that's basically the whole ensemble of rerolling. It will reroll all 4 stats. This one will allow you to keep 1, and this one will allow you to keep 2. Now, what I didn't mention about the substat upgrading is that, obviously, I mean, it's kind of logical, but I just need to mention it, is that the gold one gives more, and you can kind of see here how much it gives. Let's say here, and then you could see there it only increases, right? So like the max for crit rate will be a max of 7.5, but here you could go higher. So like, let's say you're at 3.22, you could go up to 3.75. So that's basically how it is for that. Substats are pretty good and will greatly increase your CC. Now, next up is accessories. There are 3 types of accessories: the earrings, the necklace, and then the ring. They all have different stats that could be acquired, and usually the rings are going to be crit rate for the most part. I mean, if we, I can't really show it, but usually every single ring that I have is crit rate, but then you could get some lucky ones. Like here, I got HP. Now these usually are going to be flat stats or crit resistance. That's what I've seen. And this one, usually it's going to be defense, but it could also be crit resistance, and also crit rate. So all 3 could be crit. But yeah, for the most part, there's not any stats you can't get besides, from what I've seen, magic attack and attack. Well, I've gotten one here, but that means it's very, very, very rare. So yeah, it seems you could get any stat the more I'm looking at it, but this is just one part that it's kind of hard to tell, right? The rates are probably very low for some, but the ones I've gotten the most are crit resistance and then the crits, especially when you consider 2 healer accessories. I've gotten crit on it. It's very sad. The main way to actually get it is going to be the first tab. When you go here, you're going to have 4 options presented to you, and I recommend never to click on these unless you're really late game and you're a well, because it's going to ask you to take an SSR rank up shard, and this is going to be quite important. But if we go for the 10, right, I'm not going to actually do it, but if we go for the 10, you're going to need to give an SSR rank up shard, as you see here, but it's going to let you pick which one of the 5 roles. When you create an accessory, it's going to be one of the 3 options, and then it's going to be one of the 5 roles, and you can only use the accessory that you create on the role that you picked, or on the role that is made from it. So I guess we'll just do this. Please tell me I have enough. Let's not give up the speed pieces. I need one more. Okay, so these things will also allow you to get a higher percentages of the higher rarity, and you could get SSR, UR, LR. With SSR pieces, it's 95.5. With UR, it's 75.25. And then for LR, it's, I'm pretty sure, let me just check. It's 5.95. So you have a 90% chance to get a UR and 5% for LR. So it kind of is BS. When you craft it, you're going to get one of the 3 types of accessories for one of the 5 roles, and that's going to be accessories. Now, of course, you could upgrade LRs to 12 and you're going to get 4 substats, URs to 8 and you're going to get 3, and then SSRs to 8 and you're also going to get 3. Getting you LRs is not the easiest, especially with the substats you want, but it's very good. Now, you could also get accessories in the limited time, and you're going to see it's this one right here that you could get it in. And of course, if they give it through some events, that too is definitely a way to get some more accessories easily, right? Now, you could also craft gear, but this is not out on global. I wonder if it's going to come out. But this bottom one, you're able to craft the damage reduction set. And this, well, you need certain materials that require you to buy from an exchange shop in World Boss, which has not come out on Canada yet. So I doubt it's going to go to global. It's going to go to global, but we'll see. But anyway, you could craft it, and then you could, if you pick it, you also have to give crystals, and it takes a lot of gold. 500,000 gold is a lot, so I never recommend doing this. But yeah, of course, you could get those same sets too. A very special thing about this game is that in Arena, if you fight, there's certain sets, of course, when you win, to get these medals, and then you can buy some sets here. This season on KR, it is the damage reduction set and the debuffer set. So, you know, that's pretty cool. And you can also just trade it in here, hope you get lucky with some pretty abysmal rates. Less than 4% for an LR piece, which... yeah, so that's basically it for gear. I think I explained the ensemble, and I hope I explained it well. But I'll make more videos in terms of stats, which stats you want to go for on certain people. But as of right now, I have a good amount of guides, and they're all in one, for like character builds, they're all in one tiny playlist, so I recommend you check it out. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching, and peace.